Hello and welcome to Chris Parkin's Shooting Sports. Today we've got a fun little test. This is the Hatsan 2.2 rimfire. The Hatsan is supplied with an inexpensive but totally functional rifle slip. You also get a sling, although no swivels are supplied, even though there are studs on the rifle. This is strongly based on the old CZ452 with a single rear locking bolt action, rear safety and single stage, non-adjustable but predictable trigger. The Hatsan is supplied with a muzzle brake, but I think it's better described as a flash hider. It's a 1/2 inch UNF thread underneath, so moderator will screw straight on. The stock is a synthetic injection moulding. I don't think the fact it doesn't free float the barrel matters greatly at the end of the day. It's only an inexpensive rifle. Chambered in 2.2 long rifle, it's the usual rimfire we all know and love. This is a great plinking tool at an economical price. I was pleasantly surprised the scope and mounts are supplied. It's a 3-9x40. I think it's actually a polymer tube, and okay, it's not got the greatest image quality in the world, but it'll certainly get you shooting, and it's got 1/4 inch clicks which make it simple to zero. It's no great surprise to see me putting a moderator on it straight away. I love 2.2 rimfire, especially with a moderator and subsonic. Magazine clips straight in, and there's a front catch to release it for a changeover. There's a sling stud at the back end of the stock, and the rear spare magazine fits in there too. 2 magazines are supplied, and these are the usual CZ 5-round format polymers. You can easily buy spares, and you can also get a 10-shot if you need more. A bipod is supplied too. It's a cracking unit. It doesn't rotate underneath the gun, so you can't, but each leg will extend independently, so you can set it up perfectly to level on your terrain. It also folds forward for storage. Fits underneath on a Picatinny fitting, and it's quick release. You can add other bipods, and there's also a sling stud. It's got a hard plastic butt pad, and underneath there's a spare magazine nestled down there. Testing started out with the supplied Hornady ammunition. That wasn't to say I wouldn't use other ammunition at a later date, but this sets a benchmark from what the supplier can give. You can see me adjusting the bipod's left foot because it doesn't cant. But I want the rifle level for shooting time. I was being very careful only to apply forward loading pressure on the bipod's feet. I didn't want to put lateral force on clumsily and affect the barrel's harmonics within the stock. It doesn't free float. Given the fact this is a box fresh rifle, I thought the bolt travel was pretty slick actually. I didn't have any problems with extraction or ejection. I won't say the trigger was the crispest thing in the world, but it was quite predictable and easy to compensate for. Just to be on the safe side, I tended to go double the number of clicks I needed and then wind halfway back for any adjustments made. It was quite nice having just over 14-inch length of pull or 360mm on the Hatsan. It made it easier to load the bipod and feel comfortable with your shoulder planted into the nice recoil pad. I'm not one to shoot 100 groups and then pick the best one to show on the video. I shoot real groups. This is what happens in reality. I think that first one's quite a big flyer, and I was suspicious all along that the scope's lack of parallax adjustment at close range but high magnification was what was giving these big flyers. A 3-9x40 scope that's parallax free at 100 metres is a pretty good choice for an economy centerfire rifle, but it's not that great for a 2.2 rimfire likely used at shorter ranges, especially when you want to use the high magnification for more precision on target, but you can't adjust to compensate for those flyers that you're going to get when you can't go parallax free, especially on a rifle without great cheek weld. I've never used Hornady rimfire ammunition before, but it's what the suppliers, Edgar Brothers, sent for testing with the rifle, so I thought it was best to set a benchmark with it before I moved on to other ammunition types from other suppliers. I was trying incredibly hard to keep my head aligned behind the scope to avoid the parallax mistakes I'd made before. At 50 metres I'm quite happy for a low-end rifle to shoot groups like this. They're not bad, and I was sure that the flyers were so big and so defined it was definitely a handling mistake or maybe pushing sideways on the barrel. An 8-inch barrel on a 2.2 rimfire gives a great compromise of handling versus muzzle velocity and accuracy. If you go longer, they tend to slow down, and if you go shorter, maybe shorter than 16 inches, I don't think they generate the full speed. So 16 or 18, like seen here, is perhaps the best option. This Hawk Frontier 30 scope should be perfect for cancelling out any parallax errors at rimfire ranges, while still giving great optics and a good aiming solution. The second day on the range saw me bring a load of different types of ammunition to check out whether there was an ammunition issue or it was a scope issue, so let's go with it. Watching myself shooting the rifle, it looks very well balanced. 955mm long, which is 37.5 inches. Overall weight is 3.2 kilograms or 7.1 pounds, including the scope and mounts. I often have to review 2 or 3 rifles every month, but the thing I love about 2.2 rimfire is it's quiet, gentle, sedate, and you can say I'm quite enjoy just shooting it. Very consistent, very stable, nice bolt operation. Although my face and cheek are quite high up on the stock. There isn't much cheek weld, and this scope isn't particularly high mounted, but it is a low-end stock. It's an injection moulded polymer and not the most perfect solution. You might want to add a cheek razor, that's up to you, but I test things as they are. As a reviewer, I think it's honest to comment on things as they're delivered to me, just as they would to any other customer. Here you can see me deliberately shuffling around to show you where my eye is well aligned compared to where my cheekbone actually hits the stock. Okay, I don't like to go in too deeply pressed into a stock, but a little more support might be nice, and I would have probably put a cheek riser on if the gun was mine to keep. It's not like Hatsan, I've got to get around the fact the gun has iron sights as well, because it isn't supplied with iron sights. Don't know why, but there seem to be a lot of flies dawdling on the target today. The first group with a parallax adjusted scope clearly shows that although the first shot's a flyer, the next 4 go in well. SK Standard Plus has been my go-to ammunition for quite some months now for 2-2 rimfire. I really like using it. For hunting needs I use the Winchester subsonic hollow point in both 40 and 42 grain loadings. Every time I changed ammo, I shot at least 5 shots into the backer just to make sure the barrel had kind of accommodated to the new lubricants. I think the Winchester 40 grain had certainly performed slightly better than the 42 you can see here. Now we're back on the supplied Hornady ammunition that came with the gun. It performs a lot better with a parallax adjustable scope than it did with a standard scope. Well, that's about it. Thanks for watching this little mini review of the Hatsan Escort 2-2 rimfire. It's a very economically priced rifle and a great package containing all the things you need to get shooting. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.